Hello, this is a quick video. This is Steve Yorty, who's modeling the Reading Railroad Catawissa branch. I wanted to talk a little bit about the motive power. One of the reasons I decided to model the branch was when BLI, model manufacturer, came out with the Reading T1484 Northern. That's a beautiful model. You've seen it run in one of my previous videos, and this is a famous Reading book that talks. That's a picture of the T1484, and they were used on the Iron Horse Rambles in the 50s and 60s, I do believe. But that's a really nice model. It runs well, and I actually own 3 of those right now. And we plan to use those. The first thing I'd like to show is a beautiful brass model from Nickel Plate Products of a fairly rare modeled locomotive. This is the Reading M1 S-Class 282 Mikado, which was used in freight service. This model I've really done very little with yet, but it has a beautiful drive train, a very smooth can motor, and my understanding is for this manufacturer, this was one of the finest models they ever produced, and unfortunately the price point shows that. I've been fortunate to acquire 2 of them. They're not really easy to find, but eventually I'd like to be able to utilize that on the layout. This was one of the more common used locomotives on the Catawissa branch, which I am modeling. They were a pretty good-sized 282 Mikado. The ones that were used on the Catawissa branch had low driving wheels, I believe 55.5-inch diameter wheels for heavy pulling. I think they were stoker fired as well. So I have the 3 484 T1s, which were up at our house where my layout is now. And then I have these 2, which obviously are going to need to have decoders installed, be primed, painted, etc. In this book here, there's some pictures of the M1 Class 282. They were built in the 19-teens, I believe, primarily. They had the huge Wooten firebox, which burned anthracite coal, often mixed with bituminous coal. And these were known as Big Dutch mics in real life. Another oddity that I've picked up is this Bachmann Spectrum Russian Decapod 210. The Reading had 4 of these in the J class. This I bought as an Erie model. I stripped it, repainted, and re-lettered it, and it's already got a sound decoder in it, and it works very smoothly. So we'll be adding that to the layout as well. Here's a picture of that locomotive in reality. The biggest class of engines that now let me digress for a minute. Their major passenger engine was 462 Pacific. They had 3 classes of those, the G1, G2, and G3. They look something like this. I have a brass model that we will be utilizing. I've put decoder in it and painted and weathered it. It's up at the layout right now, so I'll get to show that at some point. The biggest class that the railroad had, however, was the consolidations, 280 consolidations. They came in several classes, but the most numerous classes were the I-8 Camelback 280s that look just like this. Very reliable locomotives. I own one, which again I've painted, weathered, and added a decoder to. which is brass, and I can't recall the manufacturer, Gem, I believe. I also have two Mantua 280 Camelback locomotives that I've re-lettered and so on to kind of mimic these locomotives, though they're not exact replicas. These, I believe, were used on the Catawissa branch, as the Pacific's 2462s were as well. Now, the next locomotive the Reading used very extensively were the Class I-9 rear cab 280s, of which this is one right here. They were good pullers. They had the 55.5-inch drive wheels. To my knowledge, no model of that has ever been done in HO or any other scale for that matter. Primarily because, as you can see, that large Wooten firebox. So that may be one that I'd like to have to kit bash probably. And there's a couple different ways I could go about that. The West Milton engine terminal that I've shown in previous videos was primarily a helper station for trains going eastbound up the branch to the top of the mountain at Lofty. And from what I've been able to research, the most common locomotives used were the I-9 280s and the M1 282s, often one locomotive pulling and two pushing up the branch. The other engine that's the Reading utilized were the I-10, which were massive 280s with over 70,000 pounds of tractive effort. You can see they're just a real hunk of a locomotive. Another reason I picked the branch line is because this model was made by a company called Bachmann years ago. It was a somewhat cheap plastic model, but the proportions were really good. And I've been able to acquire 2 or 3 of those, and I've remotored them and re-chassied them using a Bowser 280 chassis. They used to make a conversion kit so you could upgrade it. It had new tender trucks, new tender underframes, wheels, motor, etc. And I have several of those, and they look really, really nice. And I've put decoders into them. I also have one brass model of this type of 280. Additionally to that, I have a Mantua 442 Atlantic, which I'll be utilizing, as well as several early diesels. So the Reading had some interesting motive power, not commonly modeled. That being said, I've taken some artist's license in one major respect. The Catawissa branch had clearance restrictions over a portion of it, and as a result, the 282 was the largest freight engine used on the branch. In reality, the T1 484s were not used, and I assume possibly these were used. And also the I-10, the big 280s, were not used either because of clearance restrictions. The smaller ones, slightly smaller ones, like the I-9s, the I-8s, were able to be used. But I'm decided to use something called modeler's license, and because I like those and they're available, I'm going to run them anyway. So I guess that's just how that's going to have to be. Anyway, that's just a quick video on the motive power. You know, I love the Pennsylvania Railroad as well, and I actually have far more models of Pennsylvania Railroad locomotives than I do Reading. And, you know, I'll just, if I feel the need to, I'll run Pennsy engines one day. I don't think anyone will care one way or the other. But anyway, thanks for listening. It's going to be an interesting run. Have a good day.